paying $15,000 for orgasm retreats. Not toys, not lingerie, not a vacation, but a quote unquote mind-blowing nervous system rewiring orgasms. I'm talking 5 orgasms in a row with a trained practitioner while 20 other women watch and wait their turn. And before you roll your eyes, I want you to understand that this story is as useful to men as it is for understanding women. What is happening at these retreats? Why are women paying so much money for them? And why don't men get anything like that? Let me explain where all of this is coming from and why I think men deserve the same kind of support. The $15,000 orgasm retreat was published in Vogue. It is about these retreats that cost like upward of $8,000, $10,000, $15,000, in which somatic sex educators, who I consider to be my colleagues and many friends of mine are somatic sex educators, do guided touch, breath work, and body work on women who are often like 50 to 70 years old, are giving them the best orgasms of their lives. Now, these women are not like sex fiends. They are professionals. They're moms. They are executives. They are empty nesters. They are in marriages. They are divorcees. And they are going to these retreats because they are feeling shut down, disconnected, resentful, ashamed, or just plain numb. These women aren't sexually broken. They're just disconnected from their bodies. And when they are given the space and the safety that allows them to reconnect, pleasure skyrockets. Cue the fireworks. So some of the things that women learn at these retreats are how to receive being adored, how to breathe, how to process shame, how to stop performing sexuality, how to follow sensation instead of faking or presenting or performing it, how to actually let someone else attune to their body, and how to experience safety and attunement. Women are learning that their bodies are not the problem, but their conditioning in the way that they have been experiencing their bodies is. They are going not for the thrill of it. Trust me, as someone who's been to retreats like this, it is not easy. You're not showing up and going, okay, everybody, bring on the orgasms. Like, you are going from a place of deep vulnerability. It's often really, really scary. But the people who are holding, I won't say all people, because I do know some folks who work in my field who are not great at creating safety, but really phenomenal practitioners actually create enough safety for these women's bodies to experience full turn on, full arousal, full orgasmic release. And I think the wild part of all of this, the part that I want you to hear, is that these practitioners are not doing anything magical. Trust me, I know, I've been there. What they are doing is what men are not taught to do, but can absolutely learn. Let's think about what this teaches us all about women's desire. Women, even postmenopausal women, want pleasure. They want sex, and they want deep, powerful, earth-shaking orgasms. The issue isn't that they don't desire these things. It's the things that get in the way, like stress and shame and disconnection and performing and emotional labor and nervous system overload and a sex life that has not delivered on pleasure or passion or excitement for sometimes decades. If you are in a relationship with a shutdown woman, I want you to know that she's not rejecting you. Her nervous system, and many times, is just rejecting pleasure outright. This changes how you as a man can interpret things like low desire, or a partner feeling shut down, or saying that tonight, or experiencing numbness, or saying, I just don't know what's wrong. You know, all of the above. It's not rejection. It's the consequence of dysregulation. Now, the interesting thing about this, it requires a group of educators and a $15,000 retreat with highly qualified sexological body workers and sisterhood and community and healing containers and courses and all this to like really support women in having these kinds of experiences. Like, women have this, right? Well, you have courses because I've made you courses. But for the most part, men don't. Men learn about their bodies through porn, maybe through podcasts, you know, a handful of limited spaces on the internet, this being one of them, my courses being another one. It is very rare for men to know how to receive, how to feel, how to regulate their nervous system, how to really be present with their pleasure, how to attune, how to enjoy sex without performing, how to experience pleasure instead of pressure. Women deserve and are getting, I mean, wealthy, privileged women who can afford it, are getting structured sexual healing, whereas there is no equivalent for men. It's hard for us to even imagine an equivalent for men, right? Like, the closest thing you may be even able to imagine is like a brothel, but that's not what they do. That's not what actually is going on. Men are really like stuck in isolation and silence and performance anxiety. Women are given permission to reconnect with their erotic selves. They're celebrated for doing this. this. They're adorned with like flower petals and they drink tea afterward. But men don't have an equivalent space for $15,000 or even just like in their own bedrooms. But here is what men can learn from these retreats without ever attending. Pressure kills pleasure. It's true for women, it's true for men. Women need slowness, safety, and attunement often, and men actually need the same thing. But they were told that they should just man up and perform. Get hard, get off, get out, period. The truth is that men and women are not that different. Arousal is a whole body, whole systems kind of experience. And at this retreats like this, they're bringing on all the systems. They're doing the breath work. They're doing the emotional release, the nervous system regulation. They're doing the trauma and shame work, and they're feeling things for the first time, and they're following their arousal. And this is not unique to women. Men deal with this too. It's just that like when they experience this level of shutdown, they're expected to just pretend to be fine. And men can learn everything that happens at these retreats, both for themselves and for their partners. This brings me to this term that I recently come across, and I think it's brilliant, which is pleasure poverty. We experience a true lack of pleasure. Many of us that are going through our lives are not really prioritizing pleasure. That's certainly true for women, definitely true for men. We don't get pleasure education. We mostly grow up in a puritanical society that tells us that pleasure is wrong. Doing things for pleasure's sake is self-indulgent, and that we should like get back to work. At best, we get an education on how to perform. But the truth is that men need receiving and attunement and connection and embodiment just as much as women do. The other thing to take from this, and this is wild, but I'm gonna have to keep saying it, safety is what creates orgasms, not technique. When we zoom past foundational pieces of the emotional, energetic, and mental space, and we go straight for the technique, we are overriding all of what actually counts and focusing on the very last thing that makes any difference. It's easy to focus on technique because it feels like something that we can learn. Like, who doesn't want to learn the hummingbird technique or the butterfly technique? But those things only matter if you're able to create the conditions where you can utilize them, right? If you go straight for them, you may experience orgasms, you may not, but you're not going to have the kind of like earth-shattering experience that comes with the orgasms that you have when your body feels truly safe. And the same is true for men. It's not just earth-shattering orgasms. It's actually the ability to get erect, the ability to stay hard, the stamina that is necessary to experience big waves of pleasure without accidentally ejaculating, the control that they have over their bodies when their bodies feel safe. Even though this retreat wasn't made for you, and even though you may not have $15,000 to put towards a retreat right now, that doesn't mean that you can't benefit from everything that happens inside of one of those spaces. You are not broken. You just were not taught how to regulate and operate your body. You weren't taught how to feel. You weren't taught how to have discipline with your mind and to control your thoughts. No one showed you how to create safety inside of you, and certainly never showed you how to find safety outside of yourself. Beyond that, how to experience pleasure in a safe and structured environment. And this matters because women aren't the only ones experiencing pleasure poverty. Men are dealing with it as well. And this is exactly why I am hosting the Pressure to Performance Summit. In many ways, it is the equivalent of a retreat like this, except for that it is like the more masculine version of it, where we're going to talk about your nervous system and your hormones and your shame patterns, your pressure. We're going to talk about your need to do emotional release work. We're also going to talk about your mindset. We're going to talk about your relationships. We're going to talk about your spiritual relationship to yourself, to a higher power, the way that sex and eroticism plays a role inside of that. Because where else do men get the same support that women do? Their pleasure and confidence and their erotic life matters as well. So if you want all of that, the male version of having incredible somatic retreat, but without the $15,000 price tag, I invite you to register for my summit. The Pressure to Performance Summit is happening on January 17th. It is completely free. We will be sending out a recording to anyone who registers. So go down there, register right now, and get access to this information. No gatekeeping here. I want you to have it. Please join me and top worldwide professionals in my field. I've gathered us all to share all of this with you, and I cannot wait to see you there.